Welcome back to the channel where we are going to dive into everything healing, growing, reclaiming our power after a toxic relationship and really working on ourselves because we've been through a lot. Today, we're going to be addressing something that is so incredibly important, and that is emotional abuse. It's not always easy to spot because it doesn't leave physical scars. But if you have experienced this, which chances are you have if you're watching this video, you know just how incredibly damaging it is to yourself, your self-esteem, and your life. If you've ever felt manipulated, controlled, constantly put down, you know you're in a dynamic with someone and it's just not healthy, this is for you. I'm going to share with you all of the red flags that are going to point towards you being in a dysfunctional, emotionally abusive relationship. This may not be easy for you to accept, but it's definitely something that you need to hear. Let's jump right in and take a closer look at what emotional abuse actually looks like. Number one, this is the one we hear all the time: constantly blaming, constantly belittling. They often put you down, they're going to criticize, they're going to just know exactly what to say to make you feel bad about yourself. They make you feel dumb, worthless, pretty much incapable. They make little jokes at your expense, but they never really feel like jokes. They just kind of feel like digs. And that's because they are. So I'm so glad your intuition is telling you that, because that means we haven't lost you yet. Over time, this is what affects your self-confidence and how you feel about yourself. This is why now you're starting to really doubt who you are, your abilities, and you just don't have the self-esteem and the self-worth that maybe you had before this relationship even started. This is for the people that will say, I lost myself. Number two, gaslighting. This is where they manipulate you into making you question your own reality. You start doubting your own memories, your own thoughts, what you think actually happened. They may deny things that they have said or done, and you question it so much that you actually think you're wrong and that maybe that didn't happen. When this happens way too much, you start to really have a lot of self-doubt. You're confused, you're unsure of yourself, and so you really need someone to tell you what you think, how you feel, and what actually happened. You're starting to lose that connection that you had to your inner self. Number three, isolation. They try to isolate you from friends, from family, from anyone that they think could possibly be supportive to you so you could become healthy. They don't want you to be around anyone that can make you feel good. They want you to feel like the only person you can rely on is them. So they're going to do two things in order for this to happen. One is they may paint a picture of the person in your life, whether it's a friend or a family member, a bad picture of them, so you can start believing that bad picture. They don't like me. Every single time I'm around them, they don't want to be around me, or I don't think that person's really good for you, when this is the person that's actually gaslighting. They're going to make you feel guilty about wanting to spend time with them. And this, of course, is going to also follow up with them accusing you of just not caring about them because you want to go spend time with someone else. This is the isolation. This is where they really start honing in on maybe your codependency and you being responsible for how they feel, when that's not your responsibility. And also, it's about understanding healthy relationships and healthy human beings. Healthy people do not act like that. But if you are codependent, if you are a people pleaser, if you have a lot of wounds, this person wanting to spend all of their waking hours with you and them even getting upset when you are with someone else, that's a red flag. But it's not a red flag to someone who is codependent, because all of this does is just keeps you dependent on them emotionally, or maybe even physically or mentally. And this is all about control. So if you're dependent on someone in that way, that person is controlling you. And the reason why you're dependent on them is because you're still wounded and have absolutely no idea. That's why watching these videos, investing in yourself, working with me, taking the courses, doing all the stuff, this isn't just about this relationship and you learning about these emotionally abusive red flags. This is about you healing and working on your stuff that's inside of you that even allows you to tolerate any of this. Because I gotta tell you, a healthy person knows this checklist, they know it very well, and when they see it, they don't even engage in it. It's not even attracted to them to be in a relationship with someone who's like this. But if you're not healed and you still have all of your stuff from the past that you're carrying around with you, then all of this stuff you might actually eat up. Number five, control. All of these things are about control, but I'm talking like excessive control now with number five. We're talking about what you wear, what your hair looks like, not just who you hang out with, but what you eat, where do you go, like everything about you is controlled by them. They have an opinion on everything. And remember, you're losing yourself. So now you need this person for support in these ways. So you have become completely dependent on them and you don't even know who you are anymore. Number six, mood swings. Now, I want to really talk about this one for a second because mood swings are a sign of so many things. First off, it's a sign where someone just really doesn't know how to soothe themselves, how to validate themselves, how to get themselves out of a space that they're uncomfortable in. So this person's gonna go from kind and loving to completely mean and nasty. The thing with this is you're now walking on eggshells. You are in a relationship with someone where it's completely unpredictable. You don't know who you're gonna get. You don't know if this person's gonna be into you, if this person's gonna like you, or are they gonna hate you? Is it gonna be a fight? Is it gonna be World War III? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. This, while it seems like a small thing, okay, mood swings, this actually causes PTSD. Number 7, now before we get into that, I hope I haven't lost you yet, but don't forget to click subscribe, click on the notification bell. Also, don't forget to click the subscription button at the bottom of your For You page when you are on YouTube so you can watch all of our videos. But number 7, and it's a biggie, that's why we had to have a little pause moment there. Manipulation. Now we're gonna start guilt tripping you. They're gonna guilt trip you into doing things that you just don't wanna do because you have absolutely no boundaries, remember, because you're dependent on this person. So you don't know what you think, you don't know what you feel, the standards are out the window, you don't know who you are anymore. And if you at all, for even a second, try to stand up for yourself, you are now the bad person. You're the problem. They might make you feel guilty for doing that, or they might torture you for doing that. So the backlash is either gonna be, I can't believe you did this to me and I'm the victim and woe is me, in order for them to gain sympathy because they're playing the victim here, or you're going to get straight up backlash where it's like yelling, screaming, verbal abuse, all of those things. They're trying to use your emotions against you so they can get what they want. That's the whole point of manipulation. And if you feel like maybe I am too sensitive, maybe I am the problem, you are being manipulated, because anyone that's healthy would not even remotely do any of these things to you. Number 8, the biggie, and I think when we kind of start tackling this one, we're getting more into like the narcissism realm, but it's going to be the lack of empathy. They may be dismissive of your feelings. They're going to belittle your concerns. They just don't care about what you think, how you feel, a boundary. They're not going to respect any of it. They don't even want to hear it. The hard thing with all of these is when you are wounded, I cannot even stress this enough, you will not be able to spot any of these things. Some of these things may sound familiar to you. A couple of them may be like, yep, I've been there before. Yep. But when I say lack of empathy, this is definitely a really big one because a lot of people don't really even know like what empathy should look like in a relationship, which is so incredibly sad. But if you are wounded, you're not going to know that this is happening to you. You're going to allow it to happen, and you're going to keep playing out the same dynamics with this person time and time again. That's why it's so important, aside from just educating yourself, to actually work on yourself. What does that mean? It means getting on the phone. It means doing coaching. It means actually talking to someone about the stuff that goes on inside of you that makes you even put up with any of this, or makes you even attracted to people. Number 9, shift blaming. Man, does an emotional abuser just love to not take responsibility. Why would I want to even do that when I can just blame you and you're more than happy with even taking the blame? Especially when you're just apologizing all the time and you're trying to work so extra hard to make me happy and make me love you, and you're just worried about me leaving you because you have a fear of abandonment. Those things are just helping me to basically manipulate you. But most people don't know they're doing that. Most people don't know they over apologize. Most people don't know that this person is blame shifting. Most people don't know any of these things because they're so deep into the codependency or the people pleaser, or they're so wanting someone to love them and see them, or they're so desperately not wanting to rock the boat and like set a boundary. This is what causes all the problems in your relationship. Number 11, being jealous, being possessive. It kind of goes back into like the isolation thing, but it's more about you not being able to talk to anyone else. They're going to try to control who you interact with. They're going to accuse you of cheating, accuse you of like going too far, really fabricating a whole relationship that doesn't even exist. You might actually like the jealousy. You might actually be attracted to this. That obviously goes back to your own stuff. Number 12, last one, big one, unpredictable. The communication is inconsistent. Sometimes they give the silent treatment. Sometimes they own their stuff, but nothing ever actually changes. So they don't really own it because they end up just blaming you. They ignore your messages. Maybe they just ignore you altogether. One minute they're yelling at you. One minute they're verbally abusive. You're kind of scared. Someone's punching a wall. I mean, the list goes on and on. You go beyond frustrated at this point. You're just straight up confused. You're living in dysfunction. You are absolutely in an emotionally abusive relationship. And it's scary and it causes PTSD because you don't know what you're gonna get. Nothing is consistent with this person. What do you do if you know any of these red flags are present in your relationship? Doesn't matter what the relationship is, by the way, too. It can be a friendship, family member, or romantic partner. Number 1 is you have to absolutely set boundaries, but you can't set boundaries if you haven't worked on yourself. I'm sorry. You're not gonna be able to do it because you're not gonna know what the boundary is, and you're not gonna be able to follow through with it because it takes a really healthy, strong person for you to be able to know what the boundary should be, which is my standard, which is what I think, what I feel, what I will and will not tolerate. That's number one. Number two, within the boundaries umbrella, is you being able to follow through the boundary. That is going to scare you to pieces and you're not going to be able to do it. You have to now be consistent with what it is that you say. So whatever it is that you say, you make sure you follow through. Unless you've really worked on yourself, you're just not going to be strong enough to be able to do that. That's why it's so important to actually invest in yourself. I will link my coaching down below, my coaching services, whether it's an individual session or multiple sessions, which I always encourage, because 1 hour is not going to all of a sudden transform you. You have to be consistent and someone has to hold you accountable and show you, quite frankly, what it is that you should be doing every single day. Once you've really done that inner work, you will feel strong and powerful. Then you can be at a point where first you can start setting boundaries and enforcing them, but you can also take a step back and actually analyze this relationship and decide whether or not this is a relationship that you actually want in your life. And you won't be afraid to divorce someone just because they've been in your life forever, no matter who that person is. This is all about your well-being. And even if there are some relationships that you just can't leave and they have to be in your life, you'll at least know the tools and the strategies to how to handle yourself when you're around this person, because it does take a lot out of you. And I know you know that. You absolutely deserve a great relationship, whether it is a relationship with a family member, a friendship, or even a romantic partner, but it has to absolutely start with you. So you can learn all the red flags, but you being able to handle yourself when these red flags you're faced with them, that's a totally different story. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know, what relationship have you really struggled with? Was it a friendship? Was it a family member? Was it a romantic relationship? Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.